The ISIS brides returned by this government to the country, and essentially there was silence. As you know, there are plenty of people who don't want these people to be moving, particularly into Western Sydney, because the people who live in Western Sydney are the refugees from the actions of their husbands.
We have a very harmonious community here in Western Sydney from people from all over the world. We welcome people, but it's important that we get people that come back that want to be part of us, not those that want to fight against us.
Look, I cannot emphasise enough how fearful many members of my community are about this situation.
We have the second most diverse community in New South Wales. Now, they feel betrayed. They're absolutely terrified.
How can you now, in 2022, turn around and say, we are going to allow the people who assisted those ISIS fighters, those Australians who betrayed our values, come and live next to you?
No Southern Cross tattoos, no dog whistling about white pride, normal, passionate Australians from particularly diverse communities. Well, as you know, Anthony Albanese has essentially only been asked one question about this and ran away.
We will consider one and only priority is to keep Australians safe. We're following national security advice on all of those matters and will continue to do so. Thanks very much.
Now, if this feels repetitive, it's because it is. For weeks now, most of the media has been satisfied not asking questions, and the position of the federal government is, it's not my responsibility. Well, somebody who does have absolute responsibility is the Home Affairs Minister, Clare O'Neil. And I want to give a big shout out and a congratulations, and I'm sure this causes him trouble on the inside of the staff collective, but well done to David Spears today, because he had the opportunity to talk to the Home Affairs and Cybersecurity Minister, Clare O'Neil. Now, yes, they talked about Medibank and yes, they talked about hacking, but he had a couple of minutes left over and it was time to ask the person responsible about the ISIS brides.
But what about their concerns in Western Sydney? Are you going to, or have you met with any of them to discuss what's happening?
Well, a decision like this is, I think, always going to be one where there are different views expressed in the community, and I absolutely respect people's right to have a different view.
But the question was, have you consulted with them? Answer, of course, no. We continue.
On this, I am asking about the concerns in the communities, which are legitimate. Why, are you going to meet with them? Why haven't you met with them?
Yeah, so I've talked to the members of parliament who have raised those concerns, and if there are other members of parliament that I haven't spoken to,
you going to talk to the mayors and the community leaders?
So the person who has been most vocal on this is Di Lee. I'm organising a detailed briefing from my department about the arrangements that have been made. Why don't you go to Western Sydney, though, Minister, and talk to the Yazidi and Assyrian leaders and say, look, here's why we're doing what we're doing. And here's the monitoring that's in place. Why don't you do that? So what I've spoken to the members of parliament who represent those areas about is just having a discussion about what the most constructive way for me to engage with those communities is.
I look forward to Di Lee's version of these conversations because, yes, she may well have spoken to many local MPs who represent Western Sydney, but guess what? They're all of the Labor Party. One exception is Di Lee, who is, of course, the KK political killer. Forever we thank her. Best thing about the 2022 election. But you hear there that she didn't really reflect on a conversation with Di Lee. It was, I've said somebody in the department to eventually pick up the phone and eventually call her. As for the mayors, no. They've chosen their side because they had a face-to-face meeting with Peter Dutton. Now, most of the media will just move on from this, but I don't know about you. But every time since this story started, be it at a barbecue, at a kid's birthday party, be it mates in WhatsApp or just random people even asking questions, they always ask about this ISIS bride issue. And again, I admire people who speak truth to power. The local mayors are people who, if they shut up, could move up and down the greasy pole of the Labor Party. But they've decided to represent their communities, including the refugees affected by the behaviour of these women's partners. These women left the country to go and join a caliphate that would equal death if you didn't believe in the most twisted version of the religion. You heard there from a minister, actually under questioning. Well done again to Spearsy. The discomfort, no doubt, was there in the insider's studio, not just from the minister, but all the people on the panel. Oh, we don't want to talk about this. They're Australian citizens. Look away. What about the other people that we're trying to take care of in this country who were directly impacted by the behaviour of those families? Well done to Spearsy. We won't give up. We'll keep asking questions.